You Orns. Greetings, fellow Watford fans. Omar here, and it's time for another edition of the You Orns 10-minute take on Watford 1, Bristol City nil. And after the pain and disappointment of Friday night in Plymouth at home park, it was really a different type of ending for Watford. And although they didn't play especially well in the first half of the game on Tuesday night at the Vic, the result ended up being different from what it was at home park this past Friday, as Watford got over the line with a 1-0 win. A very good performance in the second half, defensively especially, and also a very fine performance from Daniel Batman. He is the You Orns man of the match for his great work in goal. He commanded his area with aplomb, was much more aggressive than we've seen him in a number of years, I'd say, as a Watford goalkeeper. And he made some excellent saves throughout this contest that really kept Watford in with a chance to win the game and kept a really good Bristol City side off the score sheet. Bristol City dominated the first half. They had a lot more possession. They were disciplined and highly well organized, and they continued to do the same thing over and over again and created a few problems for Watford. In fact, they should have scored on at least two occasions in the first half. Watford really struggled in the first half to get going. As a matter of fact, they didn't have any shots on target in front of their fans in the first half, whereas Bristol City had five on target in the first half. And then Watford managed to get one shot on target in the whole game. That came in the second half, and that one shot was the game winner from Ryan Andrews, whom 53 minutes into the game, that would be what, 8 minutes into the second half for those of you scoring at home. Ryan Andrews found the back of the net in front of the beloved Rookery at the Vic. It was a pass, good assist from Georgie, and it was a one-touch move for Ryan Andrews, who then belted the ball into the back of the net, in off the far right-hand side post, the goalkeeper's right hand, and into the back of the net to give Watford all 3 points. The Watford-born lad, he is one of our own, Ryan Andrews, giving Watford all 3 points in that 53rd minute. But of course, it wasn't only Ryan Andrews. There was a team effort afoot for the next 40 minutes plus. Watford defended doggedly and kept their discipline and their shape and their cool. Francisco Sierralta was really fortunate not to get sent off in this contest. As a matter of fact, Francisco Sierralta perhaps should have been sent off during this contest. There was a foul, although Naki Wells of Bristol City made the most of it in an Academy Award nominated performance, I would say, in this film awards season that is upon us. Luckily, the referee didn't fall for it, and the referee, I think, was very sensible in this game, not like the unsensible and the illogical referee that we saw this past Friday in Plymouth. But this referee was a bit smarter and resisted the urge to pull out a second yellow card on Francisco Sierralta, who'd got a really foolish yellow card to start the second half. And then when it looked clear to me, at least, that he had actually handballed outside his box in a moment, just a few minutes later, everybody was expecting a yellow card, that second yellow card to come out of the ref's pocket, and still James Liddington did not oblige. And so Francisco Sierralta was very fortunate not to have been sent off. And seeing the danger, recognizing the danger, Tom Cleverley, fresh from his one-match touch line ban, immediately yanked Francisco Sierralta from the pitch and brought in a change for Watford. And these changes proved to be really important for Watford, especially at half time, because Musa Sissoko, who did not start this match, proved to be a very decisive factor in it. His presence really shifted the midfield and how it was working, because in the first half, the midfield just was not coming together. We were getting overrun by at least three or four Bristol City players, and we were not able to deal with it. Obviously, outgunned, outnumbered, outmatched. and they needed to be a change made. And the way that the midfield was being patrolled in the first half was not very good at all. The midfield ball did not stick in the first half. We kept losing the ball in midfield. And so there needed to be someone who was going to hold on to possession and move the ball as well. Give that midfield some passage, some elasticity, some strength, some stretching, some imagination, some fluidity. And that's what Musa Sissoko gives you in midfield. He can be box to box. He can lead that midfield. He can be the top of the spear, so to speak, in the midfield. And he can really get things moving. He can absolutely play a little bit higher up the pitch. At times, he can come back and defend. He can go all over the place, and he can roam. He can give that midfield that freedom, to that room to expand, to breathe a little bit. I think we got too narrow in our midfield in the first half, and when Musa Sissoko came on, he expanded things a lot more, and you could begin to see Watford breathing a little bit better, attacking a bit more, and then that 53rd minute goal was the impetus. And Georgie managed to get that ball over, and Ryan Andrews did not waste any time. He really did not think about what he was doing. He just struck the ball quickly at the first time of asking. And one of the problems that we have had going forward is that we sometimes hesitate. And we did in this game in the first half. We hesitated a lot. We had the ball, we go on a break. And instead of just taking a shot at goal and bearing in on goal and just taking a shot or just cutting the ball over immediately, we would hold up the ball and we would wait and wait and wait. And by the time we did that, all of Bristol City's defenders would get right back and get right behind the ball in position, and then we'd just slow ourselves down again. So what we needed to do and what we need to do better is to move the ball faster. Like, we did not do that in the first half. And when we're on the ball and we've got a runaway break, even if we don't have the runners, take the shot anyway. Take that shot, force the goalkeeper to do stuff, and put that defense under pressure. Put the ball in the box. Do something to force that defense to react to you, so that you start to build pressure on that defense going forward, even if it is you as the lone runner, even if it is you, Georgie, as the lone runner. And that's the thing that I thought changed a bit more in the second half. And Musa Sissoko opened up the game a bit for Watford. And then when the goal came in the 53rd minute, after that, the whole team seemed to get energized, and obviously a lot more intensity and a lot more movement from Watford, because we didn't see that for most of the first half, for all of the first half. And what I saw in that second half was a much more engaged Watford side, who I thought were full of vigor and life in that second half after the goal. And the thing is, the strange thing is to me, is that Bristol City didn't really do very much different after that goal went in. And they did not really shake things up that much. Okay, they did have some subs. Liam Manning, the manager, put in a number of subs and they looked pretty good, but he didn't necessarily change the structure of what Bristol City was doing. Maybe they made a slight formation change, but the overall structure and the overall game plan didn't really change. And I think Bristol City looked very direct, and I think at times quite narrow. And then that made it easier for our defense, because we were able to just really stop a lot of what they were trying to do. And a lot of what they tried to do came straight through the middle. I don't think they utilized the channels enough. In the first half, they did it better, but in the second half, they seemed to move away slightly from it, but they didn't deviate that much after being down 1-0. And usually, when you concede first, you end up changing some aspect of your game plan, whether it's tweaking tactics, tweaking formation, or moving some subs in and putting them in certain places and then rearranging your team a little bit. That usually shows you that you can perhaps get back into the game. But Bristol City never really did that. I don't think the fans of Bristol City would probably have liked the fact that there wasn't really enough of a difference in what they were trying to do in this game. But Watford, no matter what Bristol City were going to do, Watford were really committed to getting over the line here. I think they learned the lesson from Friday night. They were much more committed. They did have other chances to score, and certainly they were looking to do that. But then there was a time when the game got to the 80th minute or so where you got the sense that Watford were going to sit in and dig in for the long haul to try to sit on that 1-0 lead, which is never something that I personally would recommend, home or away. But when you've got to the 80th minute of a game, there is inevitably going to be people on the pitch thinking, we're almost there. And it's human nature to relent in that way. But fortunately, our lads were dialed in, committed to the task as a team, and committed to getting over the line, which they did, despite the 6 extra minutes of injury time that took place. But Daniel Backman, I have to point him out, was the YOU ORNS man of the match because he did make some terrific saves. I think I mentioned this at the beginning of this video, but if I did not, I'm going to say it now, just in case. Daniel Backman made some fine saves, and I know I said this earlier. He kept Watford in the game and kept Bristol City at bay. And look, again, I'll repeat this yet again. He is the YOU ORNS man of the match. His best goalkeeping for some time in the championship, and certainly that should give him some confidence. Bio didn't play badly. Quadro Bar was subbed off as well. He did not. Quadro Bar, to me, had a really subpar game, was not really involved. He was rather isolated in the game against Plymouth. But Tom Cleverley, I think, made the right move in removing Bar. He seems to have come off the boil just a little bit here in the last game or two. Look, he's still a young lad. He's got lots more to learn, and I'm sure he will be a lot sharper against Queen's Park Rangers. This game was a really important game for many reasons, not only because of what happened last Friday, but also because it is a game, one of the 5 games that Watford will be playing over these next couple of weeks, including the game at Plymouth, where 4 of the 5 teams they play are in the bottom 4 or in the bottom 7 at start of play last Friday. Now, Bristol City was the only one of these 5 teams that Watford will be playing in this stretch who were not in the bottom 7 at the start of play last Friday. And after the Bristol City win that we had in this game, Watford's next 3 opponents are all, as of this moment, in the bottom 4. QPR are bottom of the table. We'll next, after that, play Cardiff away. Cardiff are 4th from bottom. And then we will play Hull City away. Hull are 3rd from bottom. They're in the relegation zone. So now, without looking ahead too much, we have a very good opportunity to get a maximum of 9 points. If Watford can build on the win tonight and then go into the game at home against QPR, bottom of the table, lunchtime kickoff on Saturday, and get 3 points out of that, they have a very good opportunity to continue to build on what could be a special season for your Golden Boys. Watford, by the way, have won 4 of their last 6. Don't look now, but they're doing that very quietly, and they've only lost 1 of their last 6 games. So, had it not been for that last second goal from Andre Gray, that would have been 5 of their last 6 they would have won. Watford are going well right now. They are beginning to roll, even though the game and their play of the football matches they play is very uneven still. They are beginning to build a cohesion in certain areas of the pitch. Now that has to translate all the way through the pitch. But what we've begun to see over the last couple of games, at least, certainly over this run that Watford have been on, that's been a good run so far, is a commitment to team defending. This was the 3rd consecutive clean sheet at the Vic for the Golden Boys, and I think that that will give them a lot of confidence coming in to what I think will be a tricky game this Saturday against bottom of the table QPR, who should not and must not be taken lightly by the Golden Boys, especially in a lunchtime kickoff. This has been the YOU ORNS 10-minute take.